Okay, all right. Have Good Sporting, episode 67. Oh no, dude, don't start
Later, goat.
Have good mosh pitting.
all right. Welcome in. Have Good Sporting. Huge episode. National championship episode. Indiana taking on Miami, in Miami's rented home stadium. 8.5 point dogs at home. Indiana minus 8.5 in the national championship against Miami. Over under is 48.5. We'll make our picks at the very end. But before, we have several different dynamics that I would like to jump into. One of them, who is really the home team here? Who really has home field advantage? On paper, and the team that gets to wear colors on their jerseys, Indiana. Higher seed, home team, Heisman winning quarterback from Miami, Christopher Columbus High School, 43, I looked it up, 43-minute drive from Hard Rock Stadium. Now on the map, there's the University of Miami, there's like U Miami Health, there's like satellite campuses. I don't know if you go to Miami where you attend classes at or where like the football players live in the area, but I think that Fernando Mendoza's high school, I think Fernando Mendoza is closer to Hard Rock Stadium where he grew up than the University of Miami is. And they're also technically legally, well, it doesn't have to be legally, but they're the home team. And Indiana fans are gonna pack that place out. They're gonna get into that stadium no matter what. Now, if you're Miami, that is your home stadium. You do rent it out. You finally don't have to pay to play in this one that you're playing at Hard Rock. And you get to go through your normal home game day routine, which I'm sure is the game day routine that Miami fans enjoy the most. They definitely don't enjoy going playing in a different time zone or going too far away and playing. So you have that. You have that advantage. But in regards to like playing at home in the city of Miami, I just don't know if like the stadium and the split between fans is going to be that conducive to like the couple points that Vegas gives you when you're playing at home. Like I don't think any of that is factored in because Miami or Indiana rather always prepared. And each team gets an even amount of tickets. Each fan base gets an even amount of tickets. So I don't think there's going to be there's not going to be any home field advantage here, is what I'm getting at. I don't think outside of the game day routine that you get to do at your home stadium, and you've done it so many times, it's like clockwork. Outside of that, which is huge, that is huge. I don't think this whole Miami's playing at home, it matters at all. I don't think it matters. Um, and if we're talking Miami roots, Fernando Mendoza's from there. That's him and his mom and his family has been one of my favorite stories of the playoffs. So him having a bit of a homecoming, going back close to Christopher Columbus High School, I think that is pretty cool. If you want to use the term home, it's a Fernando Mendoza homecoming. How about that? What else did I want to say? I had a couple different talking points. Serious problem that I don't remember, but one of them was good. Second thing I want to get into here in regards to the format of the college football playoff as a whole. And let me know your thoughts on this because what we have here is we have a 12-team college football playoff field, and we have the number 10 seed playing the number 1 seed. And I am in the camp that 12 is okay. Frankly, with where we're at, if you just said keep 12, I would do it. Before, when we were at 4, and they were talking about expansion, I was like, 8 would be fun. I think there might be some years where 8 teams are capable of winning the playoff or winning a national title. I don't think there are ever 12 teams realistically that can like win it all. I don't think it was that way this year. I mean, you put 2 G5 teams in this year that you knew weren't going to win. So if that's going to be the format, then I don't think 12 is correct. If it was just 12 at-large bids, I think that's a little better. But we're about to go to 16 or 24 in a matter of years here, and it's going to be too much. It's too much. So what I'm asking you, and let me know how you feel, is does this national championship right here, assuming and right now we don't know who's going to win, is this data that we have from this playoff good for the argument that the 12 team playoff is correct because we have Miami competing for it all? Or if they go get boat raced by the number one seed, is it proof that maybe 12 teams was a little too much? And, you should have four or eight or just 12 at large bids. And I guess we've gotten to the point now where you have a 10 seed that is playing lights out and are making other teams look super ugly. And it's like, yeah, 12 is right because now we have what has been a very, very entertaining playoff. But what I ask of you is if Miami or if Indiana's going to go and boat race everybody, then let's just make the playoff consist of the teams that the committee deems capable of winning a national championship. And then if it's less teams or if it stays at 12, then we at least keep some semblance of meaning in the regular season and in conference championships. Because right now, I think if Indiana goes and just torments Miami like they've been doing to all the other teams, then the number one seed won it all, and you had conference championships that didn't matter, and week 11, 12, 13 games that didn't matter because you had teams that were going to get into the playoff either way. Like A&M made the playoff, and it didn't matter that they lost their last game and didn't make the SEC championship. You know, Miami snuck in when they maybe shouldn't have been, which clearly they were one of the best teams. So if you go to a computer model that had Miami ranked really high, they probably would have been in like an 8-team field anyway. Notre Dame the same. You had Tulane and James Madison that, you know, I don't hate that they have like the G5 can earn a playoff bid, which is just good for those conferences as a whole to have that to play for. But once you're in, you're not playing for anything because you can't go run the table against any of these teams, much less beat one of them. So, I'm very curious to see what the playoff argument is depending on which one of these teams wins. I think, you know, 12 teams was unnecessary when the number one team's going to go spank everybody, if that's the case. But then you have to do at least 10 teams if Miami goes and wins. So, Miami winning would change my mind a little bit on the playoff format, but Indiana going out and winning would not be good for the people that want to make this playoff 16 or 24 teams. I mean, my problem is what if it gets bigger and bigger and then like a lot of teams or a lot of fans, when they go and look at scores throughout the year, they're just looking at what ranked matchups are going on. Who's in the AP top 25? That's a good general idea on just who's good. So if you have a 24 team playoff, you're telling me you could be unranked heading into the last week of the year, and you're like, but we could slide into the playoff. Like it's not over. If you're a Big Ten or SEC team and you're 8-4 and you're 9-3, I don't think I don't think you should be able to play for a national title. But if you want to keep expanding it and just say that the regular season doesn't matter and you can lose a lot of times, then that's okay. Like leave the losing up to the NFL. Let the 8 and 9 Panthers win their division and make the playoff. Because no one argues about that format. Like that's fine. But in college football, we got to have a little bit of let's keep some value in the sport. Because right now, you make so much money, obviously, the powers that be, the suits, they make so much money from the playoff. ESPN is like raking it in this time of year. But it's not the best way to do things. The tradition of the sport, it makes me an old head maybe. And I don't hate 12 teams. I think 12 teams it's been a fun playoff. Don't get me wrong, but something's got to change. Something's got to change. Do a G5 playoff. Keep it at 12. Try to make conference championships matter. Try to not let 9-3 teams in the playoff. We were almost to that point. 10-2, I'm coming around to, you lost to two really good teams. That's okay. Let them play. 11-1, you're in. 12-0, you're in. I don't mind that. If we expand and we get to, like a 9-3 that lost like won one big game, lost three okay games, but they just like and they were kind of just like 14th in the AP poll the whole year and they got in no sweat, then it's like, does this 9-3 team deserve to be playing for a championship? I don't know. But I'm just saying the number one seed is maybe this is a bad argument because Ohio State won it all last year. I'm not saying go back to four. Okay, we're long gone from that. I'm just saying don't expand past 12. Just make the 12 team playoff as good as it can be because if the one seed goes and wins it this year, that's not like that gives me no reason to believe going up to 16 is going to make it any more entertaining or any better or a better determining factor in who's the best team in college football. If Miami wins, maybe you can maybe there can be a question there. But if Indiana wins, we cannot expand this playoff. Okay, that was a little bit of a rant right there, but we got to talk about my picks for this game. And what I say unto you is that I have two theories here. And I think there's two general theories going on when you're trying to pick this game. One is the look at it like a standalone football game. The traditional football where you play it at the line of scrimmage and the better O line and the better D line wears down a team, and over the course of 60 minutes, that team is going to win. If you really believe in that, then go pick Miami. Or you can look at it and go look at each team's body of work, look at the whole season as a whole, and you can look at the 14 and 0 Hoosiers and say they have a Heisman winning quarterback, and that might even not even is the calling card for the team. Like they've stifled Ohio State. Alabama looked like a minor league baseball team against them. Oregon, it was over from the start. They were up 7-0 before Fernando Mendoza had to take a snap. And I think I'm going to roll with that side of things. I think I'm going to look at this Indiana team that they were undersized and were losing in the trenches or were going to be dominated in the trenches against multiple teams this year, especially Ohio State. And we saw them go out and beat Ohio State. Now, that was the closest game of the year. And I think Miami matches up very well to Indiana for this game. Clearly has earned the right to play in the national title. But Indiana has done nothing that's going to make me think that Mendoza is going to go out there and make a mistake or they won't be prepared like when the fake punt, was it Bama? I think Bama ran a fake punt, and Cignetti just looked pissed that you'd even try that against them because they're so disciplined and so prepared that, like, are you guys aware that Cignetti knows that Ruben Bain exists and knows that Hakeem Mesidor exists, and he knows that he may not have two offensive tackles that can handle that for 60 minutes, so he'll do something to take Ruben Bain out of the game, not injure him, of course. But Cignetti knows Ruben Bain exists, and he's going to try to do a little bit of what Ole Miss did. Get the ball out quick, try to establish the run a little bit, get Chambliss or Trinidad Chambliss rolling out in the pocket, try to make Ruben Bain not be a huge factor. I think Indiana is capable of doing that better. I'm going to take Indiana minus 8.5. They're going to win this game 31-20, just a field goal or so over the over-under of this game of 48.5. I think Indiana is the best team in the nation, and I think they win it all. 31-20 gives me a little bit of breathing room to where like maybe it was 24-20 and Indiana ices it late, or it was just a blowout 11-point game that wasn't as close as it seems. But we'll know very early on this is going to be an absolute rock fight. Both teams are very, very good at making other teams look ugly. And I think when you have two teams that do that, it results in beautiful football. You know, I'm just going to take the team that I think is going to make less mistakes, and that's Indiana. And they're not going to wear Miami down over the course of four quarters, but they're just going to absolutely capitalize off of any mistake Carson Beck makes or anything the defense does wrong. Try to keep Ruben Bain from being a factor, keep that D line from being a factor. Stunts, rolls, all the football terms for what they're going to do with the D line. Um, I think I don't have enough reason to fade Miami here, or fade Indiana rather. And Miami's been playing great ball. Does the buck stop here? I don't know, but I'm rolling with the Hoosiers. I think they get it done, and I think the Indiana Hoosiers are your national champions. And I think they're the deserving national champions, right? But what a great year of football it's been. We'll be back next Tuesday. We'll be back talking about the national championship. And I think we'll talk a little NFL or flip the script to college basketball. Maybe start doing two a week, NFL episode, college basketball episode until the NFL is over. Then we'll really hit the ground roll with college basketball. It's going to be a good year of college basketball too. But if you got this far, thank you for watching. I've just been out of it mentally the last few days. Been an absolute train wreck really here in 2026, but trying to get a job, trying to work on things, make myself better. And in that process, gonna keep getting stuff out on here, try to grow this thing. And hopefully, the show doesn't suck. That's the thing with this. It might suck, like you don't know. But hopefully it doesn't. Gonna keep rolling with it, try to make it better. But thank you for watching. I appreciate you and I love you. Bye.